LPT. If you're relatively young and the type of person who lives on stress, multitasking, and thrives under pressure, ease up on yourself even if you feel like you're fine and can cope. When you're younger, you might feel like constant stress is manageable, but as you get older that can catch up to you in unexpected ways. Like anxiety issues or physiological problems like inflammation. Once that damage is done, it's really hard to undo. Edit. It has helped me personally to read these comments and know there are other people going through the same thing as I am. I'm sure it's helped so many other people to read these comments, too. Good luck to everyone who has had a rude awakening to what chronic stress does long term and those who are in recovery. Purple Heart, thank you.
Just because you can handle the pressure doesn't mean you should have to. Take a break and let yourself relax. It'll be better for your mental health in the long run.
This has been me to a T, always multitasking and on the go, and suddenly hit a wall in my mid-30s. High inflammation, issues sleeping, unable to multitask like I used to without a bunch of double checks, etc. Been a hard lesson to learn.
Don't be a stress unicorn. Just because you're rare doesn't mean you're invincible.
Anyone else purposely procrastinate because you can't work unless you're under pressure or on a tight deadline?
Me too, exactly. Sad face. Trying to help other people and prevent this from happening to them.
Sometime in the 80s it became fashionable to be a high-strung ball of stress, implying your busyness meant you were important or in demand. We are 2 to 3 generations removed from the initial trend, and it is now usual to hear people describe their days as crazy busy, connoting lots of stress and pressure, and they are the brave captain of the ship. It's supposed to telegraph importance, this nonsense. Most busyness and the resulting stress is optional anyway. I also notice the people who broadcast their stress and busyness the most pile it on themselves and then complain. In my own life, I don't tolerate other moms complaining about all the extracurriculars their kids must attend with the stress on time and resulting financial pressure. Totally optional, and self your energy for life's real stressors: death, illness, injury, wrong place, wrong time, misfortune, high-stakes work where error means death or catastrophic results.
No joke, this realization saved my most recent job. I was in the private computer repair sector and would repair something around 20 to 30 computers a week. After being let go from the company, I got hired in a much better paying position with full benefits. The workload and pace are so much slower that I felt wrong because I wasn't working enough. Everyone at the job kept telling me that this was the normal work pace and to enjoy it. I almost started looking for a new job, but then a friend kind of slapped me in the face. For context, I joined the military at 17, went straight into full-time college, and had a full-time retail job, then into this previous job that I held for 8 years. Literally non-stop work, stress for nearly 20 years. It's okay to slow down.
This LPT is legit. I'm one of those who didn't take it seriously.
This is me, and I tend to work on several tasks at once, bouncing back and forth between them.
What happened?
Can 100% confirm this one. I'm a high achiever, always have been. But after about age 35, it started catching up to my body in ways I'd never expected. It's easy to think something like, I can handle this. I've always been able to handle this. But like anything else, it's the chronic nature of it that makes stress so damaging. Dealing with constant stress when you're younger too. Not acceptable then, not acceptable later. We need to ditch the tolerance of, and embracement of, grind culture as a necessary way of life or something to attain to or be proud of.
Yes, but also, get a job that rewards you very well for liking that. Most jobs that demand what you're offering can't keep people around. Just learn to balance it.
Burnout and major anxiety breakdown. I don't think I'll ever get my stress tolerance or memory back completely, but I'm in recovery. Been several years now and the direction of my life has changed drastically. I don't see myself going back to finish uni, and I have yet to get stable enough to get a real job. I'm sure it's gonna be fine eventually. I'm going to find some kind of balance again and be mentally stronger than I was before, etc. But oof, that burnout wall is way more than I could ever imagine, and it was not worth it. You think you can do it, until suddenly your brain and body just says, no.
That's me too. I just got diagnosed with ADHD lol.
I agree with this, But there is one huge exception. The cost of living for a lot of people has climbed to such a level it isn't an option for everyone to just take it, which is a pretty bleak outlook for the future. I find a way to live your life in a way less reliant on the conventional means of supporting yourself. Unfortunately, that can mean buying land, which is not really an option for folks living check to be happy living a somewhat transient lifestyle. Travel, explore, get random jobs, meet tons of people, but people might hate you for being the homeless person who just rolled into town. Nowadays the constant grind is more related to survival than any sort of savings. Don't allow your employer to force you to work without breaks. Don't come in on your day off. Don't even talk to them about work off the clock. Take your sick days when you need to. Don't work involuntary overtime. Don't prioritize their success over your time away from work as yours. It's not some gift bestowed to you by your omnipotent employer. Just remember they aren't the ones worried about making rent this month. And if they are, you should quit immediately because that ship is sinking.
Can confirm, up to the age of 35, I could take anything and just kept taking on more and more. Just had 6 months off work, NHS, with depression as everything got too much fast.
I tell people this all the time. I don't worry about much of anything. The task, chore, job will be done the same whether I worry about the outcome or not. I trust my people, my kids, and of course myself. Knowing everyone you surround yourself with will always either get the job done or give you their best effort is extremely comforting. If you trust your people, no sense in stressing. I don't set unrealistic goals or deadlines either.
Wish someone had sat me down and told me this sooner. I moved out pretty much as soon as I turned 18. I was going to school with a journalism, English major while also putting in 60-hour work weeks. I would tell myself, sleep is for the weak, I'm just built different, I can handle, I promise you. Eventually you will burn out and it does catch up to you. For me it didn't happen till halfway through my junior year. I failed a few classes and dropped out, had what I would call a mental breakdown and quit one of my 2 jobs with no backup plan because I just wanted to crawl into a hole and catch up on sleep. It took me a while to get myself back on track after all that. Don't burn yourself out, it's not worth it, I promise.
I've learned more in the last 3 years about stress and anxiety than I had in the 40+ years before. Took losing vision in an eye at that time to get me to pay attention. And the last 20 months have been even more severe for other. Have a former coworker who called me last week, freaked out that he was having vision problems and might be having what I had. Fortunately, it turned out to be his first migraine, due to is no joke. If your gut clenches hard when you hear an unexpected loud noise, if you turn around in a panic asking, what was that? If someone says, we need to talk, and you freak, get evaluated for anxiety. It's a lifelong problem I didn't know I had, because I thought everyone reacted internally like to someone. Talk to a counselor. Be proactive about it, because too late can be too late.
When trying to retrain from chronic fatigue, one is supposed to do a task for, up to, depending on how ill one is, 10 minutes, then take a forced break if you feel like it or not. That 10 minutes break are meant for you to listen to your body and find out if you can do another round, or if it is enough. The point is to stop before your body has to stop. Hated it. I slapped myself in the face with some adrenaline and stress, chugged 5 deciliters of coffee and some sugar and kept grinding myself down. It is hard to rebuild when you're grinding yourself down. Sort of works the opposite way. So I started listening to my body and forcing breaks. And magically, over a few years, I got better. Sure, I still overdo it sometimes and have to hug the pillow for a few days, but at least I am choosing to do so for good reason, knowing it will set me back. Not just hurrying to get more stuff done before little stress is good. We're meant to have small episodes of stress before returning to homeostasis. But we are not meant to have adrenaline and press blood sugar into our muscles and inhibit digestion for long periods of time. Zebras may run from lions from time to time, but they don't get because they relax in between. Stressor, linked recommended read.
Story of my life. Worked really well until I became a manager and had too many balls to juggle and too many people depending on me.
Would actually to have a little more detail on this, if you're comfortable to share. I feel like I might have adult ADHD, but am nervous to explore.
Yes, I am one too. I work at lightning speed and now my right ankle is killing me from inflammation. I have scars from using tools too fast. My thumbs ache. I don't have much time left it feels like, and this LPT is one of the most seriously good ones I've seen in a while.